Well, I appreciate being here. This is a distinct honor and pleasure. I must say that this talk will be more difficult. Most of mine are aimed at medical or surgical events or my company that deals with medical coding, but we'll get on with the business of this. So I always like programs that start with nice slides. And when you travel, this kind of sets everybody at ease. So this is the talk that was assigned to me, the joy of doing things what others say you cannot. And I got to say that I have always felt like that you always push things, push it to the limit. You push it with work ethic, you push it with your academic efforts. And so I actually have, I'm a board certified surgeon. I practice in Alabama. I'm here with my family today, and in fact, it starts with family. And Mom and Dad are up here, and happy birthday, Mom. Her 77th birthday last night. The rest, I left one at home. My son's in school, but my daughter and my wife also are here. So, family is not a distinctly Southern thing, but I think that we certainly honor our family heritage and roots. So notable achievements. I don't know if these are achievements or not, but these are kind of hurdles that we're called to jump. Accidents happen, illnesses happen, and actually how we respond to them I suppose, is how we are to build our character. If adversity builds character, I certainly should have a character by now. So I was born in Birmingham in 1961 and contracted Guillain-Barré. Guillain-Barré is a paralytic illness and was paralyzed neck down. January of 2005, hunting, I suffered a gunshot wound to my elbow and lost my left arm. Last year was prostate cancer. Now, I got to say, the prostate cancer, men, obviously, growing older. I'm over 50 now, and it's a common ailment, and I really don't expect that will be a problem, but you never know. I mean, the U.S. Preventative Task Force said that we shouldn't measure PSAs in men, and so I'm not going to debate that one here today, but suffice it to say that the life is full of interesting occurrences. So BFG, before Forrest Gump. This is me and my mom. So this is, I guess I'm about 4 here, and I had braces. And I never really wanted those braces. But let's talk about Forrest. Forrest is back. I live in Gadsden, not Greenbow. I have Walton, not Jenny. I'm probably known more for my IQ, not my speed. I attended the University of Alabama, but didn't play for them. I did have college football scholarships, but not for Alabama. I was shot through the elbow, not in the buttock. And I'm a little better at golf than I am at ping pong. So football after braces. When I was in 2nd grade, I threw my braces away in the 1st grade, and I started football, which I played for 12 years. And then I have always played golf since I was 8 years old. And so that actually has something to do with the rest of the story. I think athletic endeavors are always a challenge, but we have different endeavors in our life, whether they be academic or athletic. So my formula for success here, I plus A times work equals success, and we're going to come back to that one. But I mean, people like formulas. People like to look at how people succeed, and I'm not sure that that there is a specific formula. I think it's an individual or personal trait, and I think it is a challenge. So we'll get to that in a second. So surgery. Surgery is interesting. Surgery is a discipline that most people probably don't understand well. But this is me doing surgery with one arm. Of course, I have my prosthetic. I have a myoelectric prosthetic that I wear. Surgery is a mental discipline, regardless of what most of you in the audience think. There's a lot more that happens between your ears than with your hands. And so I will say that surgery is a team sport. The individualism in surgery, yes, there are doctors, surgeons that have better hands than others, that are some that are more facile than others, but in reality, if you're on the table, you want a surgeon that thinks like Sully flying the airplane when you hit birds. You want to be cool under pressure, you want to be able to land that airplane. And so surgery has become better with technology. I mean, all of our hospitals are running out buying robots to help us do surgery. I just wear mine to surgery. So, surgery, unfortunately for y'all, is easier than golf. So my left arm here, I specialize in laparoscopic surgery. I've taught laparoscopic surgery and operated in about 22 countries, Europe, Asia. And reality is that, you know, laparoscopic surgery does involve, you know, using your hands, but my left hand holds the camera, and as it is in this picture, and my right hand's doing most of the work. So I every day in my office and talking to patients and talking to people out in public, you know, I want to pass this message that you thank God for what you have, not what you don't have. Because everyone in this room and everyone that lives in our country is better off than people that aren't in this room and that live in other countries. I mean, if we really look at it, we're better off for a number of different reasons, not just financial. So here's something I'm thankful for: my wife, my mother, the life that I live. Why waste time? You know, I've had articles written about me and about what I do, and you know, one editor said it's like you have 25 hours in a day, and I'm telling you, you do. And you know, we waste so much time in our day, and you know, whether it's doing things that aren't important to you, but you know, you just focus your time. If you think about it, how many days do we have to live? 28,000. That's a rough estimate. And so if you think about that, that's not even a great salary here in Chicago, $1 per day. And so think about it that way. You're trying to steal a little extra time, a little extra day, a little extra dollar. That's when you're milking a little more out of your life, because you're not given this infinite number of days to live. So carpe diem, that's a good term here. Seize the day. So why waste time? Live life to the fullest. Oh, that last one, lack of effort cripples a lot more people than amputations. So here I am at Pine Valley. I mean, a lot of people don't know where Pine Valley is. It's in New Jersey, and it's consistently ranked as the #1 golf course in the country. But it is, interestingly, it's a hidden gem. Here I am playing the National Amputee in New Hampshire in 2010, and the National Amputee in Arizona last year. So skiing's another interesting sport and a challenging sport, I must say. But once again, you don't need two arms. You know, there are a lot of inspiring people. You know, we don't need to look any farther than, you know, the Olympics this year. You know, who would have thought you got a guy with no legs running track in the Olympics? I mean, how amazing is that? And I mean, I mentioned these golf tournaments that I play in. That's a collection of amazing individuals, men and women, who have one arm, one leg, no arms, no legs, and they're playing golf. And so, go back to what I said earlier. Thank God for what you have, not what you don't have. These are inspirational people that we are all living around and talking to. And so it doesn't all involve health problems. There are psychological problems involved. Success. So here's my version. Imagination plus attitude times a work ethic is going to get you a successful adventure. And so the lack of work ethic creates the biggest disability of all. So here's Dad and I hunting, quail hunting. There's so many fun things to do down south. This is my company, and this has been quite a challenge. I started about 7 years ago, and actually this morning had a meeting right here at Rush. We hope to get going here soon with the software. And so here's a lesson learned about that. You know, in life you have a number of different pursuits, whether they be athletic or academic or business. And starting a new business is from the ground floor is a monumental undertaking, I'll say that. When I started this, I was thinking maybe 3 years, maybe 4 years. We're pushing 8 now, and you know, it still is hard work. Medicine has to transform and learn the value of electronic solutions. I mean, I know that I could sit here and debate this for an hour about the goods and the bads of EMRs and electronic records. Suffice it to say that there are keys within data collection and data analysis that are going to help us. Now, unfortunately, I got to tell all the people that live off of reputation, not reality, you got another thing coming real soon, because the data that's going to be cranked out of some of our healthcare analytics is going to be eye-opening. As a consumer, you should demand the very best from your physicians and your facilities, and I mean that with all seriousness. Demand that. You know, the reality is that, you know, physicians and hospitals are in this problem for a reason, and they weren't pushing themselves. And I think consumers do need to push this. I get ragged by some of my friends and colleagues for being on the dark side because I am the chairman of the PMD Advisory Committee for Blue Cross of Alabama, and I do see the business side to medicine as well as the human side. I did mention that my family this year will hit 115 years of continuous practice of medicine in Alabama. My father in the second row, my brother, my sister, my grandfather, and my great-grandfather. And so, you know, there's been a long span there that tracks over a lot of different things that have happened in medicine from, you know, before 1900 to 2012. So it's certainly changed. Help your care team by providing every detail about your health. And, you know, that comes from my knowledge of the business of medicine now and what we're doing in our electronic records. I think this is what I want to give to everybody, which is my favorite quote, the last 7 words of a dying organization or industry: we've never done it that way. And so always challenge yourself to look at a new way to do things, a better way to do things. Challenge yourself to use the time that God gives you here on the earth to maximize it. Because like I said, you're not given that many days, you might as well take advantage of them. Aren't cheap digital cameras great? I actually took this with a little $119 camera in Africa when we were traveling. And this is at our lake house in Gunnersville. So as the sun sets, so will I. And I enjoyed being here. Thank you.